Yeah, thank you, Jacqueline. Hi, everybody. I'm Eason Chang, and today I'm gonna share with you about how to pick the right JavaScript data library for your next project. So, about myself, I've been working on front-end area for almost 5 years, and recently I just moved from Taiwan to Canada. And the first culture shock for me is the concept of time zone, because Taiwan is a small island and we basically fit in a single time zone. So in the daily life, we don't need to consider about the time zone. But Canada is huge, so we need to, when we are communicate with others, we need to specify about what time zone we are using. So which is a problem for me. And the second problem for me is that 14 hours, which means the time difference between Calgary here and Taiwan, my country. So because I usually call my mom like daily. So after I moved into Canada, and I find it is hard for me and my mom to find a perfect time to call each other because maybe when sometime I want to call my mother and she is already asleep or otherwise. So this is a second problem for me. And I think I should not be the only one that encounter this problem. That there should be lots of people encounter the same problem for me. So I'm thinking about why not doing a side project to solve this problem for myself because I'm a developer. As a developer, we love to create lots of stuff for our own needs. So I started a new side project, which is TimeZ, which is a time zone converter. And let me share with you about how it works. So this is a website I created a month ago, which is called TimeZ, which is a time zone converter. So in order to use it to find the perfect time to call my mother, I can simply click the button here, add button, to search about Taipei, which is a main city in Taiwan, and click it. So right now I can compare about the time in Calgary and the time in Taiwan. So I can compare the overlap daytime or nighttime to figure out what is the best time to call my mother. So turns out we usually call around like 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. because in this time I just off work and I haven't go to sleep and my mom just wake up. So we usually call each other at this time using this tool. Okay. Also, give you a little more concept about the project itself. So this is a web application. I built it in Next.js. And the most critical feature for this, as you can see, is that I need to manipulate the daytime. So, which means I need to get the current time and get the list of the time zones and convert the time user choosing and convert it to another time zone. And also I need to display it properly. So the most complex part is here, convert the time between time zones. So I into how I can convert a time from Canada time zone to Taiwan time zone. And I figured out that I have this lot of concepts I need to understand in order to convert the time properly. And I don't know any of it before. So I'm saying, wow, that's a lots of difficult for me. I need to understand lots of new stuff and try to implement it in JavaScript in my from using my own code, and this is hard to achieve. But luckily, we don't need to do it on our own because as a JavaScript developer, we usually turn into open source libraries to solve this problem for ourselves. So I start to search about what JavaScript data library I can use. And these are four libraries I figured out that might solve my problem, which means Moment.js, Date.js, DateFNS, and Luxon. So later on, I start to compare among these four options. And these five sectors are the main thing I look into in order to choosing which library I should use. So the first one, obviously, the library should provide a feature for my own need. And for this project, I need the feature to convert a time to one time zone to another time zone. And the second one is that this library should be maintained, so this should not be deprecated. And the third one is that it should be popular. So if there are any bugs, and I should have some references to refer to, maybe some articles I can look into. And it should have a good interface so that I can easily to integrate into my own project. And the last one is that the bundle size should be small. And this is very critical for the front-end web project because this can make our website load faster for the users. So I start to using the npm trends and npm compare, which are two websites to compare about these four library. So I will specifically look into these statistics. So for the popularity, I will look for the stars and weekly downloads. And it turns out these four libraries are all very popular, so I can use them. And also for the still maintained, I look into the created time and the updated time. And I realized that these four libraries are all well maintained because the last updated time is not years ago. This is within this year. So I think it might be good to use any of them. So later on, I start to dig into the more detail about how I can achieve my own feature using these four libraries. So I will compare about the same feature among these four libraries and to give you the pros and cons of each one. So what I want to do is that I want to get the current time here, to get the current time using the libraries I use, and also convert it back to the timelines time and to display it as well. So these four lines of code is how I can achieve this feature using Moment.js. So I can import it and to use it like this to get the current time in Canada time zone, and to convert it to the Taiwan's time, which is Asia Taipei time. I can import another package and to write like this to get the time in Taipei time zone. So for the pros of the Moment.js, which means is that Moment.js is the most popular one among these options, and it also supports the legacy browsers like IE. But the main reason I didn't use it for my project is that it was deprecated since 2020, and it has large bundle size, so it's not good for a new project. So I would not recommend you to use it anymore for your new project. So it turned into the second option, which is Day.js. So the same feature, I print the time in Canada and in Taiwan. So the log code looks like this, which is pretty similar, but you need to import more stuff. So the pros is that it has the smallest bundle size among these four options. And the API is the same as Moment.js. So it's good if you are migrating from Moment.js. But the cons, I would say is that you need to extend the features manually. For example, if I want to have the time zone feature in using Day.js, I need to import these plugins as well. So I'm not a fan of it, so I didn't choose it. The third one is date FNS. So the format is pretty similar, and I can get the result here. And the pros is that the bundle size is small, but the main reason I didn't use it is that the time zone package is maintained separately, which is date FNS TZ. And at the time I created this project, the date FNS just got upgraded to version 3, but the companion package did not get upgraded together. So I cannot use in the latest data FNS and have the time zone feature together. So which does not fit my own requirements. So I didn't choose it as well. So my final go-to solution is that I use Luxon because as you can see, it supports the time zone feature natively. So I don't import anything else. to achieve the time zone conversion. So the pros is that it supports time zone feature natively. So I believe for my project, and I using Luxon, there should be less bugs compared to others. And the bundle size is small enough to use. And the only cons I would say is that it is relatively less popular, but still it is popular enough to use. So the final takeaway to choose these 4 libraries, I would say is that if your project need to support the IE, then you should go with Moment.js. And if you want to achieve minimum bundle size, or you are migrating from the Moment.js, and you should go with State.js. Or I didn't mention it here, but if you are a fan of functional programming API, and DateFNS is the only one that supports this type of style of API to use, so you can go with DateFNS. And the final option, Luxon, is better support for the time zone, which meets my requirement for this project. So my final go-to solution is Luxon. So that's it. Thank you so much. And if you gonna want to try on this project, you can go to this address, timesy.eason.ch to give it a try. And that's it. Thank you so much. Any questions?
Thank you so much, Eason. I know that this was a lot of effort for you to put together. Yeah,
Well, I'll just say I don't have a question, but I just want to say great presentation. I think it's really relevant for JavaScript developers with the date and time, and also great work with I'm sure obviously English isn't your first language, so way to go on doing a presentation in English. Good for you.
Yeah, thank you, Ross. Thank you.
yeah. Definitely. Thank you so much for putting this presentation together. I really appreciate it. I'm wondering, so the process that you went through with those success criteria and everything, I know sometimes there's a ton of open source libraries for solving just about any problem. Is this the same process that you sort of use with any open source library that you're looking at integrating into your project? Or like are those 5 criteria? Do you go through that for any open source library you